Can you guys see me? Hey guys. How's it going? Oh no, you see nothing? Oh, eek. Okay. If you can't see me yet, that's okay. Sometimes it just takes a couple seconds. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Donna. Hi, Christina. Hi, everybody. Yeah, hit your double arrows at the bottom of your screen just to refresh it. Sometimes a commercial will come on, but sometimes it works good. Am I nervous? No, I'm not really. The only thing I was nervous about was that my kids were going to come down and sabotage the show. That's about it. You know, they're for some reason not going to bed for me tonight, so it's a little crazy. You know, they've had the day off today and yesterday because of Columbus Day, so it was a long weekend, and they had the best time just running around with their friends and having sleepovers, and they're not ready for it to end. So I can have your 16-year-old, Sherry? All right, bring it. Bring it on. Sounds good. I can handle it. Oh, yeah, my two boys. Sexy look. Okay, well, let's see, what time is it? Oh, it's 9:32. All right, so we'll start. I think there's probably some people logging in. Let me just adjust the volume a little bit. Does this sound okay and everything? If anything is a little wonky, just let me know. I will adjust as I go, because, you know, it's been a couple months since I've done this. So, all right, so I wanted to show you guys my banner. I'm using my pink glimmer mist mat because it's the best way to show it. Photographing these banners is really difficult, and sometimes showing them on a video is just as hard. So let me see if I can get this up here for you guys. Okay, so let's see. So here it is. It says beware. We've got lots of goodies going on. A lot of cool little embellishments. And you guys are going to be amazed at how easy this is to make. Let's see if I can back it up here so you can see the whole thing. Let's see. Can you see that? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I think this will be a really fun class for you guys. I think you'll like making it. Hopefully you'll make it. And you can adjust this to any holiday. It can be for, you know, you can make one for Christmas and one for Valentine's Day. This is so easy. You guys will love it. And I'll also start by showing you everything that I'm going to be using tonight. And I have my little pile over here. Okay, so everything in this kit is Prima. And we're going to be playing with some glimmer mist, and I'll show you a couple tips and tricks with that. And also we're going to be coloring some chipboard letters, but not really coloring. We're actually going to be embossing with them. And we're also going to be using some bling and some other fun embellishments, and Prima's little boo papers. Now these we came out with at a previous show a couple years ago, and I love them. I think they are so fun, so colorful, and you know what I think I like about them the most is that the designs on them are subtle but still really beautiful. But I find a lot of times when I make a project, I don't want to cover up the beautiful graphic designs on the papers, and I guess using these papers I don't feel so bad because they're made to be used that way. All right, so the first paper is called Little Boo Fiery. You see that? And it's got all these really fun purple swirls and stars and like really cool. And then if you turn it around, check it out. Check out that purple. Now I know a lot of people don't really scrap with purple that much, but this has got like a blue, kind of like a blue purpley tone to it. It's like it changes colors sometimes. And I love it. Okay, then the next paper, oh wait, that's the same paper. I'll just put that over there. Okay, the next paper is called Spooky, and you'll see why. And it's got, you know, like a title already on there for you, but also like the spider web coming down across the page. And like, I love the hues of gray and black kind of mixed in there together. And then on the other side, it's really bright, pretty green, and it has all these fun like little words that you could cut out and use. But I love the bats and the swirls. So it's also got blue in it, which you don't really see that often in Halloween papers, and I love that. I think it's really cool. So again, this one's called Spooky. And then the last one is called Eerie Apparition. So this one again is like has the oranges, but do you guys see like the clouds and some of the stars and some of the spider webs? And again, you have like the blue and like a moon. Isn't that cool? I don't know, it's like really kind of dreamy looking. And then the other side has like a note paper kind of look to it. So this is kind of fun too, because this is great for journaling and just any kind of background. It's really simple. And another thing too is it's not really screaming Halloween. So if you had these papers in your stash and you didn't want to use it for Halloween and you wanted to use it for a fall page or something like that, it's perfect. Because, you know, I like things that are versatile, that I can use for other kind of things. Okay, now you'll also get a yard of, now the kits, let me just stop right here. There are kits available at Flamingo Scraps, and she has them on her website. I'm not sure if Your Memories Here is carrying the kit or not, I don't know, but I know she does have a ton of Prima products, so she has like great stuff too. So the two stores that are always here, they're so wonderful, they're here at every show, is Flamingo and iScrap. So the two of them are great. But usually they carry the stuff that we use in the classes in kit form. Okay, so this is like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is like sequins and kind of blingy kind of ribbon, and it's sparkly and really pretty and really textured. Can you see that? Okay, so that's what we're going to use tonight. Gotta love sparkly ribbon. Some orange pom-poms, cute. Also some silver ribbon, some of our lace. And you know, like the silver slate graphite color goes really well with Halloween too. So you get some of that. And then you're gonna get some white lace as well. The pretty white lace. And this white lace, which I love. And it's so fun to color. It's so pretty. Okay. And then these are our Sultan centers. They look like candy. Like I always look at them and I say I want to eat these because they're so yummy and sparkly. And we're going to use some Raha centers, which are the purple sequins with the little bling in the middle and the wire loops around it. Sorry, I'm not really good at focusing, am I? And then some silver ones of the Rahas. And also some Say It and studs. Gotta have studs. So we got a little black and silvery gem mix here. Some really pretty pearl and gold swirlies. It's just a corner swirl, but we're gonna cut this up and use it in a different way. And then last but not least, we have galaxy stars. These are really, really cool, okay? So the galaxy stars are really awesome. They come in like a, kind of like a spray. And then like you could take it and bend the stars out and use them any way you want. So of course I'll be cutting the stars off, but not all of the stars will be used, so I can still use it later. Isn't that cool? And they're glittered and silvery. All right. That's everything. Oh, there's one more thing I'm using. Now, you guys are gonna think this is really kind of weird, but the chipboard letters that I'm using, I absolutely love. I've loved since they've come out with them. But they're out of the black and white ones that I've always used. So I know this is going to sound strange, but I'm going to show you something really cool with these letters tonight. These are from our Cavalier collection. Now, they're still purple and they're still darker, and they do match, believe it or not. But we're going to color them a different color. And what's also great about these letters is that you'll be able to use these into Christmas, because the colors are kind of Christmassy too. Really earthy, pretty teals and burgundies and purples, and that fun like olive green on some of the letters too. So that's, again, what I'll be using. All right, so, oh, and packaging. 6 pieces of green packaging is what you'll need for tonight's class. This is actually what I'm going to make the banner out of. And I just think it makes a great background for the pennants that you're going to string together. And we're going to have this fun scallop on the top, and I'm going to show you how to cut these up and use them. Now, these can also be used for Christmas as well as Halloween, because the green goes with both. How fun is that? All right. So that's what I'm using tonight. Does that sound like fun? Does anybody have any questions so far? No? Good? Okay. All right, so let's get started. And I'm going to start with coloring the lace, and then we'll move on from there. Sharon showed me a really cool trick with coloring the lace, and I will give her credit, because normally I just steal her ideas, and I totally scrap left her ideas. I don't give her credit. No, I don't. Of course I do. Okay, so I'm going to tilt the camera down, and we'll get working. All right, here we go. All right, now let me know if the lighting isn't good or there's something kind of wonky about anything, you guys. All right. Oh, I see a message from somebody here. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was the lace that we started with. Now, this is a step you guys might want to do ahead of time, because it does take a little bit for the lace to dry. But for time's sake, I've already dyed my lace, so, but I just want to show you this really cool technique. So basically what I do is I take this lace, I run it under water, I get it wet, and I wring it out, right? And then that makes it actually able to absorb the glimmer mist once you start using it. So I put it in a plastic baggie like this, and then I'm going to take some olive vine, which is like a really nice green color. Let's see if I can fix the lighting here. And I'm going to just kind of get it swirled up. And this is going to save your glimmer mist, believe it or not. So I'm just going to spray right direct into the bag. And I'm going to give it some good squirts, right? And it kind of keeps it contained. And then I'm going to take it and I'm just going to swoosh it around in that bag and let the lace absorb every bit of color and liquid form that's in there. So I did that with all of the different colors that I wanted to use. So for instance, I used Popsicle, which is a really fun like purple. And then I used Pumpkin Pie and Haunted Shadows, which is another purple, but it's just a little bit darker than the Popsicle. And then I also used Graphite for just kind of that gray color to match the black. And then I have the Olive Vine. So again, I'm just kind of mixing this in the bag. Now, what I like about it is that the color is not going to be even on the lace. And I don't know, I prefer that look. I think it looks kind of cool that way. So let's just pretend that the lace was nice and wet. And I look in there and I say, well, it needs just a little bit more. So I'll spray it in there. And then I'll keep mixing it up until I feel like it's really colored really, really well. Okay? And then, of course, you can see that it's not completely covered. But if it were wet, then it would have been. And it would look like, it actually looked like this. So it's got the color on it, but the color is just a little bit shaded a little bit differently throughout. Let's see if I can get that focused. You guys see that? So it's not perfect, but I actually like it like that. And if you wanted to make it perfect and you wanted certain spots to have like the deep dark color, just give it a couple of sprays after you lay it out and that should do it. But I like keeping it in the bag. It just contains all of the mess. So that was a really cool trick by Sharon, and I really like that idea. And even if this lace weren't to soak it all up, you could still keep putting lace in there until all the color was used. And then you could let this dry out and just reuse it again later. So I did that with all the bags. I saved them, and I can just go back and color them more and more when I want to. So I put it out in the sun to dry. And I have the orange, which this is the pumpkin pie. And this is the, let's see, what is this one? This one's the popsicle, which see how it's kind of got that bluish purple look to it? And then here is the Haunted Shadows. Again, you can see some variations in color, but I kind of like that. It just looks old. And the graphite. So the graphite came out really cool too. So now all of my laces are done and ready, and I've done it in a relatively quick amount of time, and they're completely done. And it saved a lot of glimmer mist. I did not have to use a ton of glimmer mist to do it this way. It actually saved a lot of my misting, having to mist it on the mat, where a lot of it goes out into the mat, and then you know, what do you do? All right, so that is all done, and I'm gonna put these aside for later. And let's see what else I got here. Okay, so I did that. So let's just pretend that's all dried up. And now I'm going to show you how to cut the packaging. So I've got my ruler, and it's my Tim Holtz ruler, and one side is just standard ruler, and the other side is like a center ruler. So the 0 starts in the middle. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'm sure a lot of you have the Tim Holtz ruler, but see how the 0 is right here? So this actually will help me center the very bottom of the packaging. And then I just take my pencil, and once I figure out that it's totally even on both sides, I give it a little pencil mark like that. Now, most of us can probably figure out like where the center of this packaging is, and I mean, it's pretty easy to see. But when I'm cutting, I really like to have a reference point, so that when I line it up on my cutter, I am actually going to have the pencil mark. Let's see, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let's see if I can adjust that. Okay, so the pencil mark is lined up right here with the blade, right here on the tip. And then all I have to do is slide it so that the corner of my packaging is also lined up. So those are the 2 points that I want to go from. Okay, so that made a nice clean cut on one side. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm just going to go from corner to corner, or from the middle point to the top corner. Okay. And then I have my pennant. See how easy? So I just like having that pencil mark at the bottom just as a reference so that I know exactly where to cut from. Okay? It's not that I don't know where the center is, but it just helps me when I put the blade down. Okay, so you're going to cut 6 of those pieces. So, I'm sure, if you guys don't have the green packaging at home, or you've gotten rid of it, that's okay. Oh, wait, I have 5. Where's number 6? Hold on a second. I don't know where number 6 is. It's somewhere around here. Well, anyway, so you can use the cream color packaging, and that will totally work. And I would just, if I use the cream colored packaging, I would just use like a scallop edge punch or something along the top, and you can even paint it or glimmer mist it and color any way that you want. So I've cut all of these. Now the thing is too, is when you're cutting these at an angle from a handmade point, you want to make sure that each individual pennant matches up with its own individual piece of paper that you cut. So what I did is I took the straight edge of my paper and I lined it up with the 2 top corners up here from where I cut from, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and make my lines. So say this is A, and I'm going to put A on here, okay? I'm not concerned about drawing on my paper because I'm just going to cover it up anyway. Okay, so then we have B. Now I do this, like I said, because each one that you cut is not going to be perfect. But you want to be able to match it up later with the same one that went with that pennant. It just makes life a little bit easier. I think when you go to match it up later. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead with this. And I am just going to cut it with my scissors. I'm going to go for it with my scissors. Okay. And you should be able to get all 6 of these out of one piece of paper. It should fit. Let's hope and pray that it does. I don't know. Let's see. It's kind of hard to see, of course, as you're drawing with dark pencil. You know, I may have to redo those. Okay. So let's go ahead and start cutting some of these. So like Julia's told us, you know, keep your scissors open. Keep cutting. Because you don't want to make any of those little jagged marks. And am I worried about it being perfect? Not at all. You can certainly use your trimmer for this. That would be totally fine. And again, I love this purple paper. I just think it's so cool. And it looks so awesome against the green that I think you guys would really like it. So, let's see here. What's I got going on? You know what? I think I'm going to redo that. I think I'm going to do this. Because I think this would be a little bit easier. Yeah. So I'm just going to make a little pencil mark actually where that is. Which one is this? This is not even marked yet. So we'll actually make C here. Okay. And you know, a straight line across the top isn't going to be a big deal either because I cover most of the tops with some of my trims and things like that. And that makes it really, really easy. Let's see here. Okay. So I just want to make my mark right here. Go on D. Yeah, if this drives some of you crazy, it's cool. You know, you can use a trimmer, no big deal. And when I ink the edges of this paper, I'm not even going to see the pencil lines at all. So it's going to be a breeze. Okay, so this is D, right? Yep. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, this is kind of the boring part, you guys. Do E and E. And I just have to find my 6th piece, so bear with me for a second. I don't know where it went. Ah, here it is. So you guys get to see me cut one more piece. And I've already got my little thingy marked. And I'm just going to go corner to corner. Line it up the best that I can. Okay. And it's the last piece. So I'm just marking it again with the letters so that I can match them up when I go to glue them together. Another cool thing about this is I was able to get 6 pieces out of one piece of paper. So I think that's pretty cool. So trust me when I say you should mark them, because when I was making this the first time, it was really tricky. And I was like, why aren't these lining up right? They just didn't look right. But I know why. You know what? Yeah, that's going to be perfect. Okay. And just dab some glue on here. You guys know me and my glue. I have a love affair with glue. I love to use a lot, but it has to dry fast because, you know, I'm really impatient. I don't know about you guys, but all right. So there's one done. This is moving along pretty quickly. I mean, this is a fairly simple project to make, and you know, if you had 12 pieces of packaging instead of 6, and you guys wanted to make another one, really all you would need to do is get more paper, and then you could make as many as, you know, make 2, because I think that these would be really sweet. But again, you know, it's totally up to you. Maybe you just want to make and keep it for yourself. That's totally all right. I like to kind of move my paper around too when I'm gluing it down, just to smudge it. Make sure that it gets all the areas. Sometimes it spooges out a little bit, and that's okay. Let's see here. There we go. Get it to line up. There's another one down. Let's see. So, you know, I always get teased about using packaging for everything, but I really think that it's a great idea to reuse something that you already have. It's so cost effective. It works great. I've actually had my banner up since I made it, like hanging in my kitchen window, and it's held up so well. You know, some people might be a little concerned that it's a little flimsier than normal. I'll see, like, look, totally looks great. Looks good. And it's fine. It doesn't need to be thick as can be, like heavyweight chipboard or anything like that. It works great. It hangs really well. It's lightweight. I can hang it with tacks. You don't have to worry about having it fall down or anything from the weight of it. So that's really cool too. And the kids really like it too. They seem to really like it. And it's so fun to decorate too. Okay, there's another one down. Okay, cool. So are there a lot of new people here tonight? Anyone new or tuning in for the first time? Because I think that, oh, what am I doing? That's not the right piece. You guys will have to forgive me. I'm a little punchy tonight. It's late my time. Let's get those corners. You can always like turn it over too and give it a nice little trim if you know when you were cutting, you weren't cutting so neatly like you should have been. Yeah, right. Who cares? Julie has taught us many things, and one of them is that perfection is not necessary. And she's right. Nobody would ever look at this and say, oh, it's not perfect. Oh, look at those lines. And if they do, I kick them out of my house. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't. I'd say, yeah, you're right. It's crooked. Okay, so there, I've got them all covered. They're all set to go. The next part I wanted to show you guys, which are the rosettes that I'm putting in the center of them. They look like this. Now, I know some of you have probably already made rosettes and you already, you know, have played with them and used them in projects, but I just wanted to make them for you guys and show you some really cool ways, or a way that I like to do it. I know Tim has a great Sizzix die that he has come out with, and I really like that die, but I wanted to show you that it's not always necessary to have a die like that if you don't make them all the time, or if you're not going to make like, you know, 200. So what I'm doing is I'm taking in 1.5 piece of paper from the spooky paper, the black spooky paper, right? So you're going to cut literally, you're going to take your sheet of paper after you cut off your bottom part here, and you are going to make 1.5 inch strips, about 6, because that's what you need, because you're going to make 6 of these so far, right? So that's all you need. And then what I do is I take a bone folder. I don't know if you guys, like, some card makers use these, and they're everywhere. These are awesome. And I'll tell you what you do. You line it up to 12 inches, right? And then all you're going to do is you're going to slide it to the 1/2 inch mark, and you're going to take your bone folder and you're going to make a crease right in that cut. Right where you're supposed to cut with your blade, I just use the bone folder and just make a little crease. Now be careful not to press too hard, because you can rip the paper if you go a little too crazy, or if you use paper that is, you know, single-sided and it's not as sturdy. Prima paper is actually really, really sturdy. It's cardstock quality. So this paper can take a beating. It can be crinkled, it can be folded, it can be origami. No, you don't want to make it origami. So all I'm doing is every 1/2 inch mark, I'm just going down the line of my ruler here on my trimmer, and I'm literally just taking my tool and I'm just scoring right in where the blade normally goes. Okay? So I'm going to keep doing that all the way down the strip of paper. And this is going to make nice, even score lines for you guys. So when you go to make your folds for your rosette, it's going to fold in accordion form really, really easy for you because it's already scored. Okay. And I just keep doing this. I do this with my cards too. Like if I'm going to make a card, I can just slip the card right here under my blade and just make the score line, and it's ready to go. Okay, so once you get down to the smaller numbers and your paper's running kind of short on this end, instead of fighting with it, sliding it through the ruler or the trimmer like that, what you're going to do is you're going to flip it over and you're going to put it exactly where you last scored. Okay, so your last score line is right here, and it's showing that it's at the 9.5 inch mark right here. So I'm going to move it down to 10, 1/2 inch, and then just go ahead and score. So I don't have to fight with that little bit of strip left at the end. I can just flip it around and finish it off. Okay, so can you guys see that? See my score lines there on my paper? And they're exactly 1/2 inch apart, evenly done for you, and you just use your trimmer ruler to make the marks. Now when I go to fold it, it's going to fold really, really well for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and accordion fold. Just flip it and just keep flipping it and pinching it between my fingers as I go. And you know, if you were to score a little too heavily and say you see some of the pulp of the paper coming through, like the white part, don't be too concerned, because this rosette's not going to be that tight where it'll tear. Like when you go to fold it flat into the flat form, it should still be fine, especially with this paper because it's really sturdy. So now I have my accordion, and it was really, really easy. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and make my little circle, and I'm going to apply the glue right to the end, and I'm going to apply it to the first little peak so that it fits just like a little puzzle. Okay? And then once you guys do that and layer that, you just want to pinch it, make sure that it lines up, and then pinch it like this between your fingers. In case any extra glue oozes out, you can kind of wipe it away. And then just hold it there so that it attaches. Okay? So then you have your circle. So once that glue dries and that I know that it's like adhered together, then you're going to gently kind of grab the pleats and just kind of push it in. And there's your rosette. So that was relatively easy, and as you can see, they like to pop open. They don't really like to stay closed. They want to be like this. So a cool trick that I use is grab my punch. Let's see, where's my punch? Where's my punch? Okay, remember this scrap piece of paper from the purple that I don't need? So I take a circle punch. Like this one is 1.5 inches, I think. So I'm gonna do a few of those. So you want a base. You're gonna add a little bit of glue to that base. So swish it around, make sure it's evenly covered. You're gonna pick it up, pick up your rosette, and just plop it right on that circle. And that's gonna help hold it together, like so that it doesn't keep popping up. I hope that makes sense. So is it even on the back? I don't know. I don't think so, maybe. But that will dry and that will stay put. That will stay exactly where you want it. And you can like lay something heavy on it just to make sure that the glue has a chance to adhere and take before you know, go to work with it. Okay. Now, the notebook paper, the Halloween notebook side, I'm using my Marvy punch. It's a scallop punch, and this is 2 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just punch out like 6 of these babies. I love these punches. They're almost dull because I use them so much. Like, I love to use these for cards. They're so easy. I can't stand cutting my own circles anymore. It's just like, oh my god. I just don't like it. Okay, so I've cut out 6 of those. I punched them out. And you can, I mean, feel free to use just a regular circle punch. I mean, I chose a scallop punch just for the look, but I mean, you can use a regular circle one if you want to. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that down to the top. And that's going to be where my letter goes in. So you're just going to go ahead and get that glued down on all of these. So I already had some I prepared ahead of time. So I wanted to show you that trick, but I didn't want to make you sit through all of them. Let's see. Am I missing one? Perhaps I am. Why did I think I only needed 5 of these today? Oh no, here it is. Here it is. It's hiding under my trimmer. Okay, so you're going to make 6 of these all together. You're going to go ahead and glue these little babies right on the top. And then get that all set so that by the time that we go to glue down the chipboard letters, that this is going to be nice and dry. This is really, really fun. So how easy was that? If you guys wanted to make rosettes with more pleats in them, then obviously you would go every 1/4 inch instead of every 1/2 inch like I did. When you go to smaller pleats and you go to make one rosette out of one strip of paper, you have to be careful. You want to stick with a piece of paper that's not quite as wide. So this is a 1.5 inch. Now if I went up to 2 inches, that's kind of pushing it. What that means is that if I'm going to go up to a 2 inch wide piece, I'm going to want to have 2 pieces of paper. It's obviously going to make a bigger rosette, but if you try to do it with a 2 inch piece of paper, it will not fold. It will rip, it'll fall apart, and you'll be very unhappy. So the wider your paper goes, that just means the more paper strips you're going to need to make a bigger rosette. I hope that makes sense. So, you know, you really don't want to go much past 1.5. Unless you don't mind using 2 pieces of paper. Which is fine. You know, if you wanted a bigger rosette, then that's what you do, man. Keep going up. Okay, so then I shall take my black soot distress ink and my cut and dry foam. These come in 8.5 by 11 sheets, and I've used this before to like ink things with. And I take the foam and I go direct to the ink pad, and you see the ink just a little bit gets on there, and then this just allows me to go through and do the paper edges as I please. So I can just go through, and because sometimes, you know, like I was saying, the paper pulp is kind of white, and you may not want that to show through, and you just want to make sure this stays nice and dark. And this actually makes the rosette pleats pop out. It makes them a little bit darker because it catches on to the pleats. So it's I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see how it's just a little bit darker right at the creases. So that's really cool. I really like that look. And we're also going to do one more fun thing with it too, and I'll show you guys in a sec. But see how easy it is just to whip through these with the cut and dry foam. And you don't have to take your ink pad direct to it and try to get in all those little creases. The foam really helps you get deep down in those crevices and ink along as you want. And I really like that. Now, the difference between this and like a makeup sponge, the makeup sponge is going to soak up all the ink out of your ink pad. Your ink pad's going to dry up twice as fast. With the foam, it sits right on the surface, so it's not going to soak up all your ink pad, and then it's going to be dry, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, my Ranger ink pad is dry already. There's hardly any ink in it. You know, it's like, no, the makeup sponge you used soaked it all out. And I hear so many people say that in classes and stuff, and that's what sponges do, right? They soak things up, and they take away all your ink. And this is cool too because this little foam, I can wash this in the sink and reuse it later with it for like a totally different color. Usually I cut that 8.5 by 11 piece of cut and dry foam made by Ranger and just save them. So I have one for each distress ink color that I own. And they go a long way. I usually have to throw them out once they get, they start to pill up a little bit if you use it a ton. And that's okay, because I've gotten my money's worth out of it by then, and, you know, it just means it's time to use another piece. So, just a couple tips, a couple cool tips. So as you can see, I've already got my little rosettes going, and these little babies are going to be ready for the banner. Okay, so these are all inked and done. Now, another cool thing, just something else that you guys could add to it. You could add some stickles around the edges if you wanted, just for a little extra glitter. Or you can take some Distress Embossing ink, and you can take this ink pad, you can see it's well used. This poor thing has been through the ringer. And I actually can go right to the rosette if I want, because I really want this to be sparingly done. And I'll show you guys. I just want a little bit on the edges. And I'm going to take some, let's see, what is this? This is embossing powder called Black Sparkle. And it's made by Ranger also. I know it seems like I'm pushing their stuff a lot, but I really, really love their products because they work so smoothly and so well. And I just think it's good. It's good stuff. Okay, so Black Sparkle. That means it's a black embossing powder with some sparkly glitter inside. Can you guys see that a little? I don't know if you can catch that. So I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it around the edges of the rosettes. And hopefully it's going to catch on that little bit of embossing ink that I put on there. Okay, this looks really cool already. So it's already kind of caught some of that. So I'm going to take my heat gun and give it a quick zap. Oops! Oh no! My lamp! Got some tangles going up on here. Okay, so I just shook off a little excess that was on there. Okay. So that added just a little subtle, let's see if I can get that on there for you guys, a little light. That added just a little bit of glitter, a little subtle touch to it. Kind of cool. Is that cool? All right. I love that. They look kind of vintage already. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the rest of them really quickly. Not putting a lot on. Just sprinkling a little bit here and there. And, you know, the Distress ink will, if it's still wet, the Distress ink will allow you to emboss with it a little bit, which I find kind of interesting because it's a dye ink and it's not supposed to do that. But the Distress kind does. So I think that's really interesting. And then once you get a lot in your tray, you can just start scooping it up in your tray. Sprinkle a little bit more. Tap off the excess. excess, I mean. Oops, I gotta ink that first. Hope this isn't too boring for you guys to watch. But these rosettes are kind of fun to make, and you could sit down in front of the TV and make a ton of these if you had like some projects you wanted to make for the holidays. Because I can really see this being just a cool element in like a Christmas project. And doing this with like red and silver and all kinds of fun stuff. Like I think vintage glitter would look really cool on here, like the vintage glass glitter would look really awesome. I have some, but I have it in gold and silver, which really wouldn't have worked too well with this project. But I love that stuff, and you know I kind of hoard it because it's not really easy to find, and you know the jars are about like this big, you know, so you don't want to use it all. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw it, just emboss all of these. And it's relatively easy to see, like, once it's embossed, like, it gets shiny. So it goes from, like, a powdery, kind of fluffy state to, what am I doing? I'm, like, totally wrapped around my lamp. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Oh, not this one. Okay, I think I got them all. You can tell because if you didn't emboss it, it'll just come off. So they're all done, and they all got just a little bit of sparkly goodness to them. And they look really, really pretty here. I wish you guys could see them in person. But you'll see when you make them yourselves. They're really, really fun. Okay, so on to the next thing, which is our letters. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all the letters that I need. So I've got E, B, W, and you don't have to spell it beware. You can do something else, of course, whatever you want. I like beware. I think it has a double meaning. Not just for Halloween, but beware of mom. Beware of the mom in the house. She likes to yell when you guys don't take your shoes off at the door. Okay, so here's my trick. So I've got my craft sheet, and it's nice because it's nothing is meant to stick to it. So I can totally work on this and not worry about the back. The backs are sticky. There is a little bit of glue there. And it'll stay right on the mat and not move. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my Distress ink pad, my lovely, lovely Distress ink pad, and I am going to douse these with just some ink. I'm going right over it with my ink pad. Now you want to make sure your ink pad's kind of juicy. You know, if your ink pad's been used quite a bit and you're not quite sure, you know, just give it a little re-inking, and that should do the trick. Alright, so I think that these are really good. And then I'm going to add, I'm not too concerned about the powder getting on the back either, you guys, because I'm just going to, you know, glue it down anyway. So that's what I'm going to do. Just add more glue, because I'm a freak about glue. I don't know. Do a lot of you guys like not trust glue, or it's not that I don't trust it. It's just that I don't trust what I'm going to do to it after I'm done, and I just want to make sure it doesn't fall apart. So I use a lot. I remember going to a make and take one time, and this lady, oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was a long time ago when I first started scrapbooking, and I sat down at this lady's make and take table, and she's like, "Okay, now add a little bit of the tape runner to this and that," and I'm like, and she leaped over the table and snatched it out of my hand. It was hilarious, and and I just laugh at stuff like that. Like, I don't get offended at all. I thought it was hilarious. I still remember that to this day. How funny is that? That is funny. Okay. So, now what I'm going to do is just kind of move these aside here. And I'm going to start zapping them with my gun. Let's see if it'll reach. Probably won't. I'm fighting with my lamp that's here on the sides just so that you guys had extra lighting. So that you can see my work area. I'm not sure that it's working too well anyway, but I'm in my basement, and that's where my computer's hooked up, so I kind of have to work down here where the lighting's not great, but it works. Alright, so now I've taken an alphabet that is completely different colored, right? And let me just clamp this in this real quick, because this is going to be, we're done with this now. I'm going to lift up the whole mat, scoop that in. I'll just take care of that later. Just fold it up, get rid of it. Oh! My letters just went flying. Okay. So now, these letters are, let's see, what can I show you on? Yeah, that's not good. So these letters went from being colored to completely black, and I just changed it. So this is something to keep in mind when you have alphabets sitting around that, it's a color that you don't quite use anymore or need, you can just totally change the color. And our chipboard letters can handle anything. They can handle paint, alcohol ink, and of course, as you saw, some embossing. So pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see the sparkle? So, they started out green and teal and burgundy, and they are black and shiny. So that was the key to the non-matching letters, but the letters that you can use over and over again for something else. All right, next we are going to go ahead and I'm just going to glue down all my letters to these real quick. Now the thing is too, like say you have like some paints and things that you have laying around, always keep those colors in mind as an option for something like this. Now I'm making sure that, remember how there was journaling lines on that orange paper? I'm just making sure that it's somewhat lined up with those lines so it doesn't look weird. But, I guess if you didn't line it up, it'd be fine. Nobody can really tell. They're really faint in some areas on this paper. Alright. So, once I Fabri-Tac it down, it's not going to move. And trust me, in person you can see these letters just fine. Yes, and add embossing ink. I think I've told you guys this before, but I'll say it again. I used Distress Embossing ink. I like this ink because, I'll tell you why, because it works with every single powder out there. I know, like I've said it before, like, so if you were to use, like, you know, an ink pad made by Sukanenko, it's made to go by embossing powder. It's made to work with embossing powders from Sukanenko, right? But Distress Embossing ink you can use it with the Ranger powders, you can use it with Judykins, you can use it with the American Craft Zing. It all works on their particular embossing ink. That's what it's made for, which I think is really awesome. I don't know how the heck they did that. But you really only need to buy one embossing ink pad to work with all of your powders or any powder that you want to buy, because they're all different. They're all pretty, you know. So there we go. We got that part all set. We'll let that dry. And then I'll start to get these out. And what I'm going to do, Pete's sneaking in and out of here. Okay. And now I'm going to start playing with the pretty lace and decorating the tops. And I'll show you guys exactly what I did. Okay, so let's take a piece of our gray lace that we decorated, and I'm just going to glue that right along the top. So that's, you know, just going to build as part of the topper for that. I'm going to add that. So this is basically what you're going to be doing, is just decorating the tops using different things. I'm just going to lay that sucker on there. And then I'll trim it off. I like to turn things over and use that straight edge as my guide, so I know exactly where to cut, where that line is. And then it's there. And then I'm going to grab, let's see, my pom-poms. And I'm going to run this right along the top here. I like to add the glue to my surface rather than the pom-pom trim, because that would be really frustrating to try to do. So I'm just going to add that little guy right across the top. Now I'm using Fabri-Tac, which is acid-free. It works on all this stuff. It works on paper, works on my trims. So it's like kind of like the ones, you know, one glue I can use for just about everything. Okay, so I've got that going. And now my galaxy stars. Where are they? Where are my galaxy stars? I'm going to take these guys out, and I'm going to cut these little suckers right off. And I'm going to use 3 for this one. Oh, are you guys talking about the miners? The poor miners that are stuck? Oh, I saw that on the news tonight. I feel so bad for them. I really hope that they're able to get them out safely. You know, I don't know about you, but I don't even know if I can deal with that kind of like, well, I guess if you're stuck in a cave for 2 months, you're used to claustrophobia, or you just get over it. But I would be so claustrophobic coming up in that capsule. Yes, the pom-poms are Prima. We came out with 3 different colors this last show. We came out with an orange, a yellow, and like a light blue. They're all really, really pretty. And they add so much to your projects too. So I just love them. They look pretty cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna glue those little stars right across the top, just like that. So it looks kind of cool, don't you think? Not too shabby. Oh, and my ruler. Where's my ruler? So this is what happens when I start getting going and creating and talking to you guys, and then I lose all my tools. Oh, here it is. Here it is on the floor. Okay, so remember that center part of my ruler again? So it's going to go, you know, I'm going to put the 0 in the middle, and this is what I'm going to use for my holes. So I'm going to take that pencil again, and I'm going to make that mark. Right now I've got it pretty even. So I'm going to make that mark in the same spot right here and right here. So I know where to punch it. Okay. So you can do this after you've already put it all together, but sometimes it's just easier if you don't have all that extra bulky stuff, like, you know, in the way as you're trying to punch your holes. Sometimes this is just an easy step just to stop and do, you know, and then it's done. And then this is going to be my first one, so I'm going to put the B up here. Let's see. Come on, glue. I gotta lay this sucker on its side so it comes out faster. Okay. So I'm going to put that B right there in the middle. Okay. And I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, for the second one, we are going to, we're going to add a little purple along the top, I think. That would be pretty. Let's see. Yeah. I like the Haunted Shadows one. Okay. Just do it like that. Again, another cool little strip. All right, and then, oh yeah, where am I? Okay, do you remember this piece I was talking to you guys about? Okay, this baby I'm going to chop up and use its pieces. So, I leave it right on the backing that it comes with, and I am going to, let's see, I'm going to take off this little swirl right here at this little intersection. Okay, so I've got that part, and then next I'm going to cut off this top piece right here. Yeah, I really like to make these pearls go a little bit further. I feel like you get a little bit more value when you do it that way. And these are great. They come off in one solid piece, and they keep their shape. I mean, these are great because you can really manipulate these and not really hurt them. See, just like that. I'm going to add that to the top up here. And then I'm going to add my B. Are you guys getting bored with me yet? Oh, a banner for your mantle, Sandy? I think that's a great idea. I love putting the banners up on my mantle. And I also like to have these kind of side by side as a reference point to see where I put the first letter, just so I can kind of put the second one in around about same area. Yeah, I really like to put them across my my mantle and my doorway. I have a doorway from, you know, the front hall when you come in the front door into my living room. And so when the trick-or-treaters come to my house, you can see the banner like right behind me as they come to the door. So that's kind of neat too. And they always look up at it and they're like, oh. Because I made one a couple years ago and I love it and I hang it up. As you can see, I'm adding just a little extra glue for insurance here. Yeah, I've got issues. You guys already knew that about me though if you've talked to me during the chats. Okay, so I've got a little guy and I put him, let's see if you can see, I put him on top of the rosette. So he's not flat on the bottom here. Can you see that? So he's kind of coming off. So that's why I added a little extra glue just to make sure that he's not going to come off. All right, so that's looking pretty cool already, right? That was easy. That was really easy. Okay, let's see. Oh, the next one. Where's my next piece? All right, now I'm going to take these little bits, the purple and the orange, and I'm going to dot them along the top. I think they look cute, and they're just cute little polka dot things. And let's just take them all out. I don't know what I'm hiding in there. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm just going to go all the way across the top because I don't have time to put the glue on the little pieces and then stick them down. No, I'm no good with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start laying them right down. Just like that. Oh my God, look how dirty my hands look already. That is so funny. You should see the looks I get when I go to the bank and shopping. People must think she never washes her hands. No, I don't. No, I'm just kidding. I do, of course. Okay, so that was that. I'm going to put my W down. You know, I have embossing powder all over the place, you guys. What I did, it was so not neat at all, and it just flew all over the place, and it's everywhere. Just so you know, I just wanted you guys to know that. Okay, and then, see, that's easy. So we've got our little candies on there. He's all done. That was pretty simple, right? Oh, I haven't been cutting my holes. I'm gonna cut my holes. Oh man! Let's see. So, let's see. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the very first one, line it up back to back. I'm gonna take my pencil and give it a little mark where my original holes were from the first one that I punched a hole from. Okay, and I'm going to do that with this one too. Back to back. Make my little pencil marks. See, I meant to be doing that all along and I didn't do it. You guys are supposed to remind me. Alright, let me just punch this out. Oh no, I'm going to punch some of my pearls. Fine. Oh, it worked out fine. I love my crocodile, but I hate the little papers get stuck in that hole. Does that happen to you guys? Probably just me, because of all my glue usage. All the glue seeps into that hole and then stuff gets stuck in there. Alright, so there's 3 done so far. Pretty easy. And let's see, the next one. The next one. Oh, yeah. I'm going to use some purple lace again. Oh, I think I'm going to use this one. This one's so cool. I just love the way that this one came out. Can you see like the variations in color? It goes light to dark to light. I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting so excited about it, but I just really like the shabby look of it. Good idea, Sharon. Good idea. Okay. Oh yeah, Jack was supposed to give a shout out to Rebecca and Sharon, and I wouldn't let him. I made him go to bed. He really wanted to say hello, so I'm just going to say hello for him. He likes to talk to them when they call the house. He's my little talker. Just wanted to tell you guys that. Nothing important. Okay. So I've got my lace on there. And then this one is so stinking easy, it's not even funny. I'm going to use the Galaxy Stars again, and I'm actually just going to, I want to put the letter down first because I kind of want to see where I want to put my stars. And I'm going to cut a few more off. Yeah, I know. It seems like kind of a waste to cut these off because like you're like, well, what about the branch? But you know what? This branch is going to look really cool even without the stars. It's going to look snowy. Can you guys see that? Like, so this, I can take all the stars and cut them off and put like little blossoms all along here if I want to. Or the little gems, like these little guys. You can't even see my fingers in the way, sorry. The little Raha centers. Isn't that cool? So I know it seems like you're probably like, why is she cutting them all off? That's such a nice branch, but I don't know, I just felt like it. And I have another use for the branch, so I feel okay about it. Alright, so I'm going to scatter my my stars all over this thing. just a couple. You can add as many as you want. You got plenty. You'll have extra left over, so even if you don't use them all, it's okay. Let's see if I can tuck that guy on there and get him to stay. Yeah, he'll stay. And then I'll have this little guy kind of off the side here. So just like a simple little scattering of stars. That's pretty easy, right? All right, next. I'm already missing my other piece. Oh, here it is. Oh, what's with me tonight? I'm like losing all my stuff. Here, you know what? I gotta clean up my area real quick. I am a mess. Okay, let's just shove all that aside. All right, so the next one. Oh, I'm gonna grab the sparkly ribbon, the sparkly black ribbon that I showed you guys. Add a strip of that across the top. Now there are sequins on one side and not on the other, so I want the sequin side up because I think they're really cool looking. And I'm just going to lay that right down. Lay that right down into the glue. And grab these guys, the silver. And you're gonna have a ton of these left over too, all this little centers. So that's why I was saying, you know, if you were to purchase like an extra piece of paper, like if you were to get the kit and then you got an extra sheet of each paper I used, you would literally have enough to make another one with just the extra cost of the paper. I mean, the bling is probably not gonna go as far, like, you know, your corner bling, but that's okay. You know, you can use something else. You can use your branch. You can use more ribbon. You can do whatever you want. But I just think that's a great value, you know? Okay. And, oh, this is a cool idea. Now, the orange ribbon, this one that's kind of scallopy all along there, what I did is I cut little pieces. So I'm going to just cut off 5. How many is that? Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. Okay, and then I'm going to take them and just fold them over and just have like a little loop like that, right? And then I'm going to take my tiny attacher and I'm going to just staple the ends together. So it's just like making just a little, I don't even know what you would call it. It's just a little piece of lace. Do you guys have one of these tiny attachers? I'm telling you, I love it. This thing, it goes through like several layers of paper and several layers of cardstock. And look at, I'm like stapling lace together. I mean, that's pretty cool because, you know, lace is thick. Okay, so I wanted all the ends. I just didn't want to deal with it opening. So I just secured the ends of all the pieces of lace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over to the back. I'm going to wipe off the embossing powder that's all over everything, including my glue. And I'm just going to add a strip of the glue, just like that. And I'm literally just going to lay these things down, just like this. So it's going to make kind of like its own little, it's like going to be like a little topper. Okay, I got to add a little glue to this top piece here. Okay, so the intention, oh crap, oh sorry guys, I got glue on my other piece. Oh my gosh, I'm such a slob. Okay, so see, just like that. So it's like just little pieces of lace along the top. Just like that just stick up. They're really sweet, aren't they? And that was such an easy, quick little accent to make with just, and it looks kind of Halloween-like. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and glue my letter down. again, trying to make sure they all kind of line up relatively close together. And then the last piece, ooh, the last piece I have, let's see, I'm gonna put some green. Oh my gosh, I really have made a mess, you guys. I have stuff everywhere. Okay, I just don't want to get these all yucky. Okay, I add my glue along the top. That. Cut it off. Oh! You haven't made loops like that in ages, Kathy? Yeah, see, like, I think I'm coming up with something totally new and cool. And you're like, I haven't done that in 10 years. Like, that was so 10 years ago. I just think that's so funny. I'm laughing at myself. Alright, there we go. So, let's see, I'm gonna, again, just grab some glue and add some dots here, because what I'm going to do is lay down some more centers and just poke it at it like that. And of course I'm going to get a slab of my glue. Can't be bothered, of course, with putting it on the center. Well, I guess I could. Alright, done. Well, almost not. Almost done. I think I'm gonna use some more of my swirls on this last one. Just like that. If I can find them. Once again, stuff. You guys know this happens to you all the time, right? On your craft tables, like, you're like, oh, just disappeared. Alright. I know what to do. I think I'm just gonna add a little swirl up here and maybe one down there. Again, a little extra glue insurance. I think I want it to go like this. Just like this. Okay, I haven't been checking my private messages or anything like that. I hope everything's going okay so far in the video. It seems to be recording still. That's good news, because you know I have issues with Ustream. It always deletes my videos or causes them to shut off for some reason. And you know what I did today, you guys? I went out and I got Turbo. I got Roadrunner Turbo because I was like, you know what? It's got to be that. It's got to be my internet connection was just not. It just couldn't handle the streaming. So so that's what I did. So I hope it's going okay. I like to click on it every once in a while and make sure it's good. Okay, good. Okay. So let's see. Oh, so this is all pretty much decorated for now. And then the last thing I want to show you guys with the banner, with these pennants here, is another cool trick of mine. Because of course I cannot be bothered with jump rings and that sort of thing. You know, jump rings, stuff you use for jewelry and whatnot. I really hate working with tiny little things like that with my fingers. I don't know about you guys, but I just like to get it done quick and dirty. Done, right? So, oops, the lace is flying everywhere. Okay, let's see if I can spell here. Okay, so say I've got my pendants, this part's all done, right? All right, so now I'm going to take my centers. This is what I mean by, you know, not having these jump rings and things like that. These little centers come with adhesive on the back, just just like that. And all I did, let's start with the first, is I grabbed two that are relatively the same size. So let's say I wanted to go with this one here. And I'm going to put it on the very end, just like that, just so that the tip of it is on there like that. See? And so part of it's hanging off. So what I'm going to do is grab one that I might not like so much, or as much, so I don't mind it hiding behind it. And I'm going to sandwich them. Sandwich the tip of the pennant between the two of them. So that like takes care of that part right there. So how easy was that? How stinking easy was that? And that's my gem that hangs off the bottom. And I don't have to deal with the jump ring. And if you don't want to stick two together, you don't have to. You can use like a punched out piece, you know, a little circle. Like you can take your circle punch, if you have like a real little one or a hole punch that's a little bit bigger, and you can put a piece of round cardstock or scrap piece behind it if you didn't want to use all of yours. And get more of these, you know, more out of it. But I like to just kind of sandwich them together, and then it's done. So I'm going to have those little guys hanging off the ends of each one, which is really kind of fun, right? That was easy. I don't want to do silver and silver. I want to do silver here. I'm going to do a black one here. So yeah, it's kind of, some people might think it's wasteful, but if you have it hanging in a window, at least you can see the other side of it. And the other side's just plain green too, so that's kind of nice. So if it's hanging in your window, it doesn't look like, you know, a mess on the back. It's just plain green with a little gem. Or maybe a Prima SKU sticker. So this is my easy way of avoiding jump rings, basically. But if you like jump rings and you like crystals dangling, oh my gosh, all the power to you. But this is just my easy, snazzy way, quick, down and dirty, get it done. Because we don't always get all the time we want to craft, you know, and we want to work on a project, and sometimes we want to take our time on it and not rush. And then there's other things, like if we were making this as a gift for somebody and we want to get these done before Halloween, you know, that's kind of just a quick way to do it and make it look nice. Yeah, and I gotta punch some more of my holes, so I gotta get that done. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Who's the cute swimmer? Guys, what are you talking about? Are you talking about some cute boys on TV or something? Yeah, Prima is in California. I do work for Prima. As you guys know, I run the Live with Prima, I coordinate the Live with Prima program, so I work really hard with Rebecca and scheduling and getting all the classes together and getting it all done. We've actually been a lot more organized and working with our teachers a lot closer about, you know, getting the classes out to you so that you can make the time to come or schedule it. And, you know, not everybody wants to hear about the class the day before. So we want to make sure that you guys have the information and you can try to come and make the classes. Winter nights, you know, are good, and it's going to be a good program to like sit at your scrap space and watch some classes while you're scrapping. Maybe a lot of people have their computers right at their scrap tables, so that's kind of a cool thing. Oh my gosh, I'm still gonna have to vacuum tomorrow. Okay, so so can you guys see those little gems? They look pretty cute, right? And that was like so simple. These are all decorated. But I'll tell you what the kicker is. The kicker is tying these all together and doing the little tie-ups. Now, I'll be honest, that's not the best part, but that's okay. This again you can do in front of the TV. Now what I did is I went through my ribbon stash and I just grabbed some scrap pieces of black ribbon. Like some of it's twill, some of it's silky, some of it's sparkly. It's just ribbon scraps that I grabbed, okay? Because I don't want to use my lace necessarily to string this up with. Lace isn't going to be the best thing to run through the holes in your pennant, I'll admit. So just, you know, grab a spool of lace or just your scraps, and they could be different colors. They can be oranges and greens and stuff like that. And what I'm going to do is just make my first loop. And this is what I'm going to use to hang it with, right? So it's the best way to use up your scraps. I have so many scraps. I save all of my ribbon scraps, and I'm like, why? Why do I save them all? I don't know. We just do. We can't stand to part with some of our stuff and our ribbons especially because we collect them. You know, you never know when you're going to need that color or that specific one. So I'm just using these ribbon pieces just to kind of loop these together. So I'm gonna tie them just like I said in a loop fashion. So that's how I'm going to connect them. Now I saw somebody online, I can't remember where it was, wish I could give them credit for this idea, but they used the book rings, you know, the hinged book rings to hold their pennant together. So they put the book ring, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about, the rings, you know, the hinged rings, and they use those to like connect all of their pieces. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. It's, you know, it's sturdy, that's down and dirty quick. That's quick. But I like to use those for my books, you know, so I was like, well, I think for a pennant, I think I can just manage to use the ribbon. But I thought that was a genius idea. So that's another thing you can use. You can certainly use twill or twine. Is it twine I'm trying to think of? Yeah, twine. And use string because it's not going to matter. I just wanted it to be black. That's all I wanted. That's all I cared about. Because I'm really going to cover all of these loops with all of my leftover lace pieces that I've dyed and that I've gotten prepared for my class. So you're probably wondering, like, why the heck does she need so much lace? Well, it's these little scrap pieces, these little things that you're going to tie on here. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of lace, and I wanted it to like match. So, you know, this is just what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through and knot my lace right onto those pieces I just tied, and then just give it a haircut. Okay, so literally that's what I'm going to do is go through all of these loops that I've used to connect my pieces and tie into little stringies, and I like to like take the same color and go down the line and do it that way. And so it's like, you know, it's like orange, 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 and then I do the green, and then I do the purple, and it just seems to go much faster for me that way. Because I just take that one piece, you know, like you saw me take that orange piece, and I just keep going down the line, and it just makes it go much quicker. And then if there's spots, you know, and the pieces that you use to tie them together, there's spots to fill, it's really not a big deal. Another thing that I like to use with some of my Halloween stuff is some tulle. So say like I buy this tulle at craft store. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. Yes. Yeah. Spelled what? Oh, I did. You guys, I did spell it right. You're so funny. You're like, tell her. Oh my gosh, how funny. Okay, thanks Sharon for letting me know. You're a good friend. All right, bye. You know what? I did the same exact thing when I first put this stinker together. I swear, I did. But I had nobody to call me and tell me that I did it. You guys are so funny. Thank you guys. I I am such a ditz. You know, it's 11 o'clock here. It's 11 p.m. And I've been up since 6. So I really am not a very good speller this time of night. But thank you guys for... thanks for watching my back for me. Appreciate it. I knew I had to have my cell phone near me with, you know, just in case. I thought, oh no, did Ustream cut me off again? Did they delete me already? I haven't done anything wrong. Okay. So on with the show. I fixed it. I fixed it, you guys. So, that was funny. That was really funny. Let's get another piece of ribbon here. And you know what's so funny too is Sharon is such a stickler for spelling. So I always try, whenever I email her, I always try to spell my words correctly. Use good penmanship. Because I know that drives her nuts. I really, you know, should just like not use capitals and spell things the way totally wrong and not care, but I do try with her. So that's just so funny that she has to call me. Tell me that I'm spelling something wrong. Alright, let's see. So, again, I've got about, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 inches worth of space in between each panel. And I'm not going to make you guys sit here and suffer through all this either, of me like tying strings together, knots and stuff. But I'll basically get it together and then just kind of go through, you know, the colors, and then that's really it. And then, you know, we'll be done. But this was really kind of quick and easy to do, and there was lots of techniques. You know, we embossed, we colored letters, we misspelled words, but that's okay. At least I didn't make any swear words out of it. That was, you know, that would have been bad. It would have been really bad. Now that would have been really funny. Do you guys have any questions for me or anything like that? As I'm moseying along here, I can try to tie these and read the chat at the same time. Oh, cool. I'm glad you guys had a lot of fun. I'm glad there's lots of cool tips. You know, just get your stuff out, you know. Brush the dust off of your embossing powder and your inks and just get them out and play. I'm telling you, it's like, there's never anything more fun than embossing. I just love the heating it up and watching it, you know, work its magic. I think that's really awesome. Okay. Let's see. That was entertaining. I am definitely, if I'm not anything else, I am definitely entertaining. I definitely am. Oh my gosh, I didn't even need all those ribbon scraps I brought, but, you know, just thought I had to have extra. Okay. And now my ends are, I'm sorry, I'm not even off the screen, you guys. My ends are getting frayed, and I don't even care about that, because I kind of want this whole thing to look a little tattered, you know, for the Halloween image, I guess. And so now it's all connected. And what you want to do now is, yeah, not have your ribbon dragging across the screen. That's not good. What you want to do now is just start, you know, adding your lace knots in between each panel. Oh, and what I was saying about the tulle before, I get this at, you know, the craft stores like Michael's or AC Moore in like the wedding section. It's super cheap and you get a lot. And this stuff is really awesome and stretchy and fun, just to add a little bit of, just add like a fun Halloween kind of touch to it. Now this would be cool, again, to use for Christmas. You know, you could use white or silver or something like that, or red. And it just adds kind of like a vintage look, I guess you could say. So like that you could add in between like your lace pieces, and just add a piece of that all the way down. and keep cutting up your lace and mix up your colors, mix up your grays. And let me get the finished one. Yep, just totally swept across my table and onto the floor. Did not even care. Not even care. Okay, so let's fast forward and pretend I tied all those knots. So see how like I kind of just did a little variety? So I have that pretty sequins and the green and the purples and the grays like all mixed together, and I really filled up that piece. There's the back side. So there's the back side of my ribbon, and here's the front side with all the ribbon pieces like tied on there. And I did that in between each one. It didn't take a ton of lace, but it did take quite a bit. So that's why you have so many pieces of lace when you're done coloring it and everything. You don't have to use as much as I did, right? You can, it'll still look pretty just with the ribbon and just a few pieces of lace. Like, you don't have to go crazy, but I really wanted it to look full. Sorry guys, my lace is getting all caught up in here. And so are my stars, my tiny attacher. Okay. So it just fills it in between. And then all of the simple decorations we did on each panel, it didn't take away from that either. So you really don't need to add a lot to the panel when you've got, so many pieces of lace and ribbon going on in between. So that's really it. It's just a really fun, easy banner, and I can see you guys making really cool Christmas ones, some really cool holiday ones. I'll hang this banner up again so that you guys can see it. I showed it at the beginning of the show, and I'll show it again. What nasty questions, Nick? Nick's here. She's going to ask me some nasty questions. That would be hilarious. I see. All right, here, let me show you guys the banner again. Can you see that? Let me see if I can back it up. Back it up. Just like that. Banners are so hard to show on camera, aren't they, you guys? But here we go. So there it is, and you've got all your ribbon pieces, and it's all set. And how easy was that? How easy was that? Yeah, I wanted to tell you guys too, I see Nick Howard's here. She's going to be on Live with Prima next month. How cool is that? Huh? Yeah, so we're going to try to figure out the time differences and get her scheduled and have her do a really fun Christmas gift. Oh, I'm glad you guys like this class. Oh, I wanted to show you one more thing. This week I also made these pumpkins when I went to the craft store. I decorated some pumpkins with some Prima flowers. I had to show you guys. I was so excited about these suckers. Aren't they cool? Well, I think they're cool. You don't have to say they're cool. I really like them. And again, I made a cool tag and decorated with flowers and then added bling around the top. So I kind of made my own custom Halloween decorations, and I made a pair, and I made this little guy too to match. And he's all purpley and sparkly. Can you see him? And I added some leaves. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that too. I didn't mean to cut off about Nick, because I'm really excited about Nick, and I love her, and I think she's going to be awesome, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy seeing her here next month. We have Claudine Helmuth coming on October 26th, and she is going to do some tips and techniques using her studio paint lines and some of her stamps with our canvas and some of our jewelry. Which I think is going to be so awesome. She's the cutest thing ever. You guys are going to love her. Let's see. What else? Yeah, for November, December, we're going to have a holiday marathon. We're going to start November off with fall and move into Christmas to get you guys into the mode of making your own Christmas gifts with all of your your scrapbook supplies and tools and all of our Prima goodies we have to share and ideas. We have some great Christmas paper, and some cool bling and flowers and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll give you guys lots of good ideas, you know, to make your own gifts. You know, we know, you know, you guys just need to use your stuff up. You guys are bad hoarders, and you need to use it up. You just do. You gotta get it. You gotta use it and move on, because you know there's new stuff coming right around the corner in January from CHA Prima, and it's gonna be awesome. So you know that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying you're gonna want to use it up and give it away as gifts, and just get the new stuff. Make room, right? Yes, I'll have some wine with you, Sherry, at CHA. Definitely, I'm up for that. You got it, girl. Oh, how long is the banner? You know, I didn't say how long it was, but I would say it's 3 feet. I would say it's at least 3 feet, all put together with all of the ribbons and stuff in between. I hope that helps. It doesn't have to be as long, you know, you don't have to make the connections as long as I did. You can shorten it up a little, maybe to 2.5. What is so funny? Let me see. I gotta find out what you guys. The first minor is out. Oh my gosh, that's great. That's super awesome. That is great news. You know, it's so funny. This video is recorded, and people are gonna watch this later, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, remember that day?" Yeah. The banner, yeah. The banner is about 3 feet long, I would say. From when I'm looking at it, it looks like a yardstick. You know, and, well, let's see. A yard is usually from the end of my hand to like the top of my shoulder, so it's probably just a little over 3 feet, about that. Yeah. So, not too long. You know, it's not huge, but it's not small either. It fits across like a larger window when I go to decorate. Okay. All right, so any other questions for me, you guys? Oh my God, I'm looking like shiny and sheen. I gotta go wash my face. It's been a long day. I have embossing powder all over my hands. But it was totally worth it for you guys. You guys are worth it. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun. I always love chatting with you guys during the shows, and it's kind of nice to be on this side of the broadcasts for a change. So, because, I don't know, I just like, I don't know, well, maybe not, you know, talking to the camera and not really getting any feedback is kind of strange, too. So, I guess that's it, right? Let me see if I can find any more questions. Oh, you're welcome, you guys. Let's see. It is, oh. Oh, wow. That's great. I'll have to go catch the news now to see how he's doing. Thanks for the update. That's really cool. But you're welcome, you guys. Did you guys already pick the winner and everything? That's all done, right? Yeah, Sharon's really good at keeping everybody in line. Everything by Prima comes in the kit, not Ranger. Yeah, the Glimmer Mist and the Ranger stuff doesn't come in the kit. Just all Prima, but yeah, it's fun stuff to work with. And it's a great investment. You guys will get a lot out of it. Oh, you're welcome. Everybody, you're so welcome, and thanks for coming. I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I might go watch TV, watch the news, and check out the minors, too. But thanks so much, you guys, for coming and supporting the program and coming to the classes. We love it. We love having you guys come. It's wonderful. Oops, all right, I'm dropping stuff. It's time for me to go. Thanks so much.